Have you ever had your image or content used without your permission? As an entertainment lawyer for Black creatives and entrepreneurs, I see this happen all the time, especially with clients who are social media influencers. It typically happens with brands who they've previously worked with who are now using their content or their image outside the terms of the original agreement. I'm Casey, and in this video, I'll be sharing the 4 steps you should follow if a brand is using your image or content without your permission. The first step is to take screenshots. I know that doesn't sound like legal advice, but trust me, this is an extremely important step. Make sure you're collecting all the evidence in the event that things actually get to legal action, because this will help you prove any potential damages. So what I mean by this is take pictures of things on social media, check out pages where your image may be used for a specific campaign, do video recording, whatever you have to do to capture that information, make sure that you do it and that you save it to your records. I had a client I was working with several years ago who found herself in the exact situation I'm discussing in this video. A brand she had previously worked with was found to be using her content, a video that she had posted just on her own personal social media pages. And they were using her image for a new campaign, a campaign she hadn't been paid for, a campaign she knew nothing about. And they were using her image on their checkout pages. They were using it in a number of promotions online. And it was very clear that these things were all leading to additional sales that they were generating from this new campaign. So it's extremely important that you capture that information, as we did in that situation. We made sure we took screenshots, video recordings, we saved all the email correspondence that she previously had with that brand and under the original contract to make sure that things were clear. And it was so important that we did that, because as soon as we contacted them, within a couple of days of us having that initial contact, everything was removed offline. So all of that evidence that we needed to support our claims that were essential to us being successful in making sure that she was compensated for this misuse, we had to make sure we got that up front because it was gone just like that. So step 1 is extremely important. Make sure you take those screenshots and you collect that evidence. The second is to review the original contract. Okay, make sure here that you haven't actually given them permission. Make sure that you haven't signed something in perpetuity for them to be able to use your image and your content however they would like for as long as they would like. Make sure you review that original contract, that there are no terms like that, and that you understand the specific context of how they are allowed to use your image and your content. Hopefully there are very specific parameters on how they can use your information and content so that you can clearly outline that to them when you reach out in step 3. Step 3, send a cease and desist. This doesn't have to be anything fancy. It doesn't have to be some long drawn out letter, not initially anyway. This initial cease and desist could be a simple email that you send to the brand letting them know, hey, you're using my content, you're using my image without my permission, and it needs to stop immediately. Make sure here that you include the screenshots from step 1 as evidence to let them know that you understand what's going on, you see what's going on, and that you're serious about pursuing this claim and making sure that they stop using your image or your content without your permission. Now, the final step, step 4, is to contact a lawyer. So if you don't get any response in step 3, or you get some negative response and you get a lot of pushback, make sure you contact a lawyer as soon as possible. There are certain legal rights that you may miss out on if you don't take action soon. You may have to file a copyright registration for some of the content, which was something we had to do in the situation that I mentioned previously. You want to make sure that you get those things handled so that the lawyer can do anything that needs to be done so that you can actually pursue the action legally and have access to all of your legal rights. So make sure you do that ASAP if, again, you're not getting positive response from the brand or you're not getting a response at all. Things may not lead to step 4. I've seen plenty of instances where by simply sending that email to say, hey, these are the terms we initially agreed to under the agreement. You're utilizing my content and my image outside of those terms. Please stop using my image. Please take this stuff down. I've seen a lot of situations where if you have a good written contract that clearly outlines the use terms and it's clear that the brand is acting outside of that, where they will simply remove the content as soon as possible and typically are very apologetic of their actions. So it's extremely important initially that you have a good contract in place that clearly outlines the use terms. So that's a side note, but by having that in place, that helps you in following these 4 steps to really make sure you don't even have to get to step 4 in contacting a lawyer to take legal action. So these are the 4 steps you should follow if a brand is using your image or content without your permission. If you found this video to be helpful, please be sure to subscribe and like this YouTube channel and follow me on social media so that you can stay in the loop and know when I release more information and tips just like this.